Hello, Pinger. Today we will do a reading text together, and in this video you will see some vocabulary items. And our text is from More to Read One Book, text 154, and we will do some this reading text is going to be about that guy, and his name is Alfred Nobel, and our text is about a man of peace. Okay, and maybe you know, but he is the guy, and maybe you know the relationship between the Nobel Prize and the dynamite. And okay, so let's see what we will find out. Okay, so in the program, as you can see, this is the text, and about the vocabulary items we have explosive, to be considered a turning point in the history of something, fortune, to wander something, to establish something. Okay, and I added, I guess, 2 more vocabulary items to that list. Okay, let's start then. Of course, what you need is, before starting, you're more to read one book, and if you don't have it, we will just provide it, don't worry. And your vocabulary journal or your notebook, as usual. And please take notes of the vocabulary with your pencil, colorful pens, and highlighters if possible. Okay, let's start with the first item. Okay, when we see that picture, it's like we see a fire, and a big fire, and a kind of burst, you know. So here is our item. Explosive. This could be used as an adjective or noun, and when we have a look at the meaning, it's like a substance or piece of equipment that can cause explosions. So as you can see from that part, here is the word family. Okay, so you can just pause the video and take notes. These are important. Okay, in the reading text, our sentence is: the reporter called him a salesman of death, the dynamite king, because he had invented the powerful explosive dynamite. Okay, and more examples. Okay, so this sentence and this sentence are also from your reading text, guys. And okay, for example, they needed a safe, powerful explosive like dynamite to blow up stone in order to construct buildings, dams, and roads. Or in the field of construction, lost their lives because other explosives were dangerous to use. As you can see, this is the noun form here. Okay, so you can have a look at the other sentence as well. Also, you can see some explosives in general here, and you can have a look at each item. If you want, you can just go to the dictionary online and have a look at that. Okay, so the other one is construction. As you can see, this is not highlighted, so it's not in the list, but you should know that word in order to understand the reading as well. So the work of building or making something, especially buildings, bridges, etc. So construct is the verb form, so construction is that, guys. Okay, so the work of building something. In the text we have: before the invention of dynamite, a lot of people working in the field of construction lost their lives. So in the field of construction, it's here, okay, the field of construction, and a lot of people lost their lives, yeah. Or construction workers, as you can see from the last one. Okay, and some collocations you can use with construction. Here you can see with verbs and with nouns. Okay, so it is really important to see the vocabulary item in many examples. Okay, it helps you. You can pause the video and take notes if you want. The other one is consider. So maybe you know that word, and that means to believe someone or something to be, or think of him, her, or it as something. Okay, so they consider themselves to be Europeans. Liskin was considered an excellent teacher. He is currently considered to be the best British athlete. So it's like, you know, all of the sentences are about the thought of other people, like, you know, they believe that, they think of that. Okay, so it's like you can say regard, see, those words you can use for consider as well. And the other one is turning point. Turning point means the time when an important change starts, especially one that improves the situation. So turning point in something. Okay, so for example, the fall of the Berlin Wall marked a turning point in East-West relations. So it's like turning point in their relations. Okay, so it's like the fall of the Berlin Wall was the time when an important change starts. So it's the turning point. Okay. Or the last one, having the baby was a turning point in their lives. Okay, so it's like a really important change in their lives. Yeah. So actually in the vocabulary list we see to be considered a turning point in history of something. So we can just define it like to be regarded, seen as a unique or important historical change. Okay, in the history, that's a turning point in the history. So in the text, the use of dynamite saved the lives of workers and thus is considered a turning point in the history of construction. So the use of dynamite is thought as a turning point, as a really important historical change in the construction history. Okay, I hope it makes sense. Some turning points in history you can see in the list here, and if you're really interested in history, you can just find the full version of the article from that link. So those are really turning points in history, so you can have a look at it, and I'm sure it will make sense. The other one is fortune. Fortune means a large amount of money, goods, property, etc. So in the text it says he wanted to think of the best way for people to use his fortune of $9 million after his death. So it's like $9 million of fortune. Okay, so it's a large amount of money. Or he thought he could use his fortune to encourage people who work for the good of the world. So this is also from the reading text. Okay, so with fortune I added some collocations as well, with adjectives and noun, and with verbs. So you can just pause the video and take notes. Take notes about those collocations in your vocabulary journal. Okay. And the other one is inspiration. That means a sudden good idea. Okay, so inspire is the verb form. And in the text, Nobel read about his plans too and had an inspiration. So it's like had a sudden good idea. Okay. Or he had an inspiration. Why not apply for some government money? Okay, so it's like he had a sudden good idea. It's like, wow. Okay. And the other one is wonder. That means to think about something that you're not sure about and try to guess what is true, what will happen, etc. To wonder something or to wonder who, what, how. It's like with the question words. Okay. So, in the text, people all over the world wondered who was going to get Nobel's money. So it's like they wondered, they thought about, they're not sure, but they try to guess who was going to get Nobel's money. Okay. Or I wonder how James is getting on. So it's like I am thinking about James, and I think I'm not sure about how James is getting on, but I'm thinking about it. Okay, so it's something like this. And the last one is establish. It means to start a company, organization, system, etc. that is intended to exist or continue for a long time. The synonym is found, so don't mix it with the verb to form of find, please, because this is another verb. And it's like to establish something, okay? So in the text, Alfred Nobel established the Nobel Prizes and the world thinks of him the way he wanted to be remembered. So it's like he started the Nobel Prizes, okay? So, and it will continue for a long time, yeah? Or, my grandfather established the family business in 1938. So it's like he started, okay? Or our goal is to establish a new research center in the north. So it's like our goal is to start the new research center, okay? And then I hope that it will exist or continue for a long time, okay? And yeah, well, with the change about this word, in everyday English, people usually say set up or start a company or organization rather than use establish. So, but this is a spoken English, so you should know the set up and start as well, okay? And I also added some synonyms for establish, and you can have a look at it and take notes, okay? And I hope it will make you understand the text better. Okay guys, after the vocabulary study, if you have your books with you, please go to the page 345 and find the text and read it on your own. And if you don't have the book with you, don't worry, because we will just send this document to you as well, and you can just have a look at it and take your time and read it, okay? And throughout the text, you will see the highlighted parts for target vocabulary as well. And just pause the video and, okay, just read it, take your time. And after that, please go to the page 346, turn the page, and let's answer the questions together. So well, I remind the thing of you again, so you can just um, pause the video, take your time, and do all of the activities, all of the tasks in here alone, okay, on your own, or you can just pause the video by one by, and I will walk you through every question and explain how we find the answers, okay? Okay, so the first one, the part A, is about, as you can see, reference questions. So the first one is him in the paragraph 2. Let's have a look at this one. All the same, Alfred Nobel was disappointed. Was this the way the world was going to remember him? Him. Okay, so we should find a person, right? Because it says him. So let's have a look at the previous one. And the answer is obvious, I guess. Yeah, Alfred Nobel. Let's highlight it. Okay, and the other one is they in the paragraph 5. So in the sentence we have the first Nobel Prizes were given in 1901, and they very soon became the greatest honor that a person could receive in these fields. So it's like they became the greatest honor, sorry. So it's like, you know, who are they or which are they? So let's have a look at the previous one, and we should find a plural noun here, okay? So as you can see in the meaning, it just makes sense. Nobel Prizes, so it is the answer. But I have to warn you against the use of the first Nobel Prizes here, because if you say the first Nobel Prizes very soon became the greatest honor that a person could receive in these fields, it's like, you know, it doesn't match with the meaning. So it's like you should find a general plural noun here. So please don't add the first in your answer, okay? Okay, so the second part is about true or false, right? So let's have a look at the first one. Alfred Nobel earned a lot of money from his dynamite business. So with this question, I have to find the keywords from the text, okay? So in the paragraph 1, it says, in fact, Alfred Nobel's dynamite business had made him a rich man. Okay, so as you can see, we have dynamite business here, and had made him a rich man is like earned a lot of money. Okay, so it's like, you know, the paraphrasing. So we can see that is really true. Okay, so the second one, Alfred Nobel invented dynamite to stop wars. So it's like we should find this one, to stop wars. And it says invented dynamite. Okay, so it's like, you know, the purpose here too. So the question is like, why did he invent dynamite? Okay, did he invent dynamite to stop wars? Yes or no? Let's have a look at the text. In paragraph 2, it says he had spent his life working for peace in the world, and he had invented dynamite to achieve this aim. Okay, so it's like invented dynamite and he's working for peace. Okay, let's continue. He hated violence and war. He believed that if countries had the same powerful weapons, they would see how impossible war was, and wars would end. Okay, so wars would end. Did you see? So it's like, let's highlight it here. And did I highlight something here? Okay, so it's like, sorry, I just turn back. A rich man, yeah. Okay, so here wars would end. Okay, so it's like Alfred Nobel invented dynamite to stop wars, so it just makes sense. I mean, it matches, right? So let's say true. And what about the third one? The first Nobel Prizes were given only to the Swedish leaders of science, literature, and world peace. Okay, so here guys, in the sentence we have only, right? So be careful about that. So it's like, let's have a look at the paragraph 5. The first Nobel Prizes were given in 1901 and they very soon became the greatest honor that a person could receive in this field. So it's like the first Nobel Prizes, the first Nobel Prizes. Okay, so we don't have any information about only to the Swedish leaders, right? So again, in the paragraph 4, we have, he stated that these leaders could be men or women of any nationality. So it's like, you know, the first Nobel Prizes, okay, they were given, and he stated that of any nationality. So this is not correct, right? So let's mark the false. And about the fourth one, I mean, this was the last one. Until 1969, a Nobel Prize was not given, so I just underline it, given to people who worked in the field of economics, right? So, and also we have until here, right? So, in paragraph 5, we have the first Nobel Prizes were given in 1901, blah, blah, and in 1969, an award for economics was added. Okay, so here is your answer. So until 1969, it wasn't given to people who work in the field of economics. So here is the answer. So we mark it as true, right? Okay. Let's continue with the C1. In the C1, we have some comprehension questions, the 3 of them. What disappointed Alfred Nobel in the newspaper story? So we should find what disappointed him in the newspaper story, right? So you can pause it. And in this one, we have the newspaper story continued, blah, blah. Okay. And Alfred Nobel put the newspaper down. Now he was not, blah, blah. Okay. All the same, he was disappointed. Okay. So, I mean, why was he disappointed? Because in the newspaper story, the words were all that he can read, right? Okay, so the answer is like, the words the dynamite king in the newspaper story disappointed him. Okay, so you should find the subject like this and disappointed him like this. Okay, so let's have a look at the second one. What was the main difficulty in the field of construction before the invention of dynamite? So I actually highlighted these parts because these are your keywords here, right? Okay, so before the invention of dynamite, so it starts with like that, and a lot of people lost their lives because other explosives were dangerous to use. So please don't write that sentence like this, lost their lives. So if you say this only, it will not be correct, guys. Okay, so the main difficulty is actually there were no safe and powerful explosives to use. Like, you know, they needed a safe, powerful explosive like dynamite. But before the invention of dynamite, it wasn't known. There were no safe and powerful explosives. So this is coming from here, your answer, right? Okay, let's have a look at the third one. Today, how do people remember Alfred Nobel? So it's like, the simple present tense and today. So we have to find it in the last paragraph. So it's like Alfred Nobel established the Nobel Prizes and the world thinks of him the way he wanted to remembered. Yeah? Alfred Nobel, a man of peace. So in the answer you can say they remember him as a man of peace, right? So this is your answer. So let's highlight it. A man of peace. Okay. Okay, for the last part, as you can see, we should fill in each gap using the information in the text. So we should do some paraphrasing here, guys. So after reading the newspaper story, Alfred Nobel thought for a long time how to change blah blah. He wanted to be used in the best way after he died. One day when he read in a paper about Solomon August Andre's plans he decided to use his money to. This is how the Nobel Prize was established. So when I just have a look at it, I just go back to the text, so you can pause here if you want. And yes, I found it like this one. Nobel was very upset about the image that the world had of him, but he didn't know what to do about it. He thought about this problem for years. So in the question it says, after reading the newspaper story, okay, so it's like he read it and he thought about this problem for years, and it's like Alfred Nobel thought for a long time how to change what. So the image that the world had of him should be your answer. Yeah, so it's like, let's put it here and check it again. Alfred Nobel thought for a long time how to change the image that the world had of him. Okay, so it's like he thought about this problem for years. So it just makes sense. Okay, so when you just put whatever you think is the answer to here, you just check it out. I mean, if it matches with the reading text, it's okay, right? Okay, let's have a look at the second one. In the second one, we have he wanted blah blah to be used in the best way after he died. So in the fourth paragraph, we found it something like this: after his death, right? So I mean, it's like after he died. Okay, so he wanted to think of the best way for people to use this fortune of $9 million. So be careful about it, because it's like in the answer it's already says to be used in the best way, right? So it's like, a passive, and it's like, well, to be used, it's like to use his fortune. Okay, so here, so if you write like think of the best way for people to use, if you say something like this, it doesn't match with whatever you are given. because you are given to be used in the best way. Okay, so be careful about it. So that's why he wanted his fortune of $9 million to be used. Okay, so you should really understand the difference between the active and passive voice here. So be careful about it and try to understand it. And so when you just put it like this, it should make sense, guys. Okay, so please be careful about the word before the blank and after the blank, right? Okay. Okay, let's have a look at the third one. It says, one day when he read in the paper about Solomon August Andres' plans to, it says. Okay, so we know that after to we have to put a verb one, right? So please make sure that you put a verb one here. Okay, let's have a look at the text and try to find together. Then in 1895, an adventurer named Solomon August Andres decided to make a journey to reach the North Pole. Okay, so Solomon decided to make a journey to reach the North Pole. And then he decided to use his money, blah blah. Okay, so after before the fourth one, you should understand Solomon August Andres' plans. So his plan is to make a journey, right? So after to, you just write the word one here, and to make a journey to reach the North Pole is going to be your answer, right? Okay, let's have a look at the fourth one. In the fourth one, it says, then blah blah. Okay, when he read in the paper about Solomon plans to make a journey to reach the North Pole, he decided to use his money to. Okay, again, be careful about to because you will put a verb one after to, okay? Because this is really crucial. You should be really careful about the grammar rules. So that's why, let's have a look at it. Okay, so he decided to use his money. Nobel read about his plans too and had an inspiration. He thought he could use his fortune to encourage people who work for the good of the world. Okay, so he decided to use his money to, he could use his money, his fortune, his money, yeah, to encourage people. So to encourage people who work for the good of the world is going to be your answer, guys. Okay, so this is how you should do the reading, and I hope this is going to be useful for you. And peace. Okay, stay healthy and stay safe. See you soon.